Okay. Hello everyone. Welcome to our Let's video discussion Poetry in Motion video discussion number 2. So we'll start by introducing ourselves. I'll start with myself. My name is Ammar bin Norazman. My metric number is 198723. How about you, Amir?
Hi, Assalamualaikum. Good morning. My name is Muhammad Asyraf bin Wahid and my numeric number is 199024. How about you, Chee Hee?
Hi, I'm Loh Chee Hee and my metric number is 199366. Zi Ling, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Chee Hee. My name is Goh Zi Ling with my matrix number 199933. Ammar, do you want to go next?
Okay, thank you, Zi Ling. Hi, my name is Muhammad Ammar Qusyairi bin Hisham. My matrix number is 198719. So how about you, Hao Jie?
Hello, good morning. My name is Koh Hao Jie and matrix number 197032. How about you, Hui Xin?
Thank you, Hao-Jie. My name is Ong Hui Xin, matric number 199314. Kasun, do you want to go next?
Thank you, Rizq. My name is Ong Kar Soon and my metric number is 197332. How about Jing-Ee?
Thank you, Kasun. My name is Jing-Ee and my matrix number is 199066. How about Rizq?
Thank you, Jing-Ee. My name is Rizq, metric number 197670. You can go next, Shahrin.
Thank you, Rizq. My name is Shahrin Najmi and my metric number is 198708.
Okay, since everyone has introduced themselves,
I do think Eunice did not.
Let me introduce myself. My name is Choy 196979. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Eunice. Sorry. So we're gonna continue with our first poem presentation from group 1.
Let me share the slides with you all. This is the poem that we have prepared. Can you all see the slides here?
Yes, we can see it.
Yes, Eunice.
Okay. For our group 1, we are the 3 members who are Eunice, me, myself, Rizq, and Amir. So we have decided the poem of hope, since we have everyone has voted right last time, and we agreed that we want to choose the hope as our team. Then we tend to find the easy and direct message, direct poem, because it's more easy to understand. Okay, so for my part, I will explain paragraph 1 and 2, and Rizq will explain paragraph 3. Amir will explain paragraph 4. Okay, you can have follow here. So I will read the poem now, and at the same time, I will give the justification and explanation. And I welcome you all to comment and make any remarks about that. Okay, you are the author of your life, so if you feel you can cope, don't put a full stop on it, battle through it and hope. For myself, what I have justified is you control your own life, because it mentions that you are the author of your, that means you have your control on your own life. You can manage it. But if you feel exhausted, do not simply give up, because I see here there's something that relates to cope, and don't put a full stop. Then the last sentence is take up all the challenges as we hold hope, because it mentions here battle and hope. So I picked these two key points in my explanation. So proceed to the next paragraph is you could just give up, but instead choose to fight. My explanation is you can give up, but it is better to choose to fight instead of losing hope. Then battle in the darkness until you see light. Battle means like fight against everything, can be explained as take up challenges. So I say take up the challenges even though it is tough for you until you succeed one day. So now I will pass to Rizq.
Hello. First, I'm gonna start by reading the paragraph, and then I'll proceed to interpreting it. Okay. Don't live a short story with words of your pain, but a story of strength and the things you can gain. So, next slide.
Sorry, a technical problem, it lags a bit.
Okay. We wait first.
Okay.
Okay, for this paragraph, I think that what we interpret is that the author wants us to not waste our life, which is in reality is very, very short to be wasted with painful moments in our life, or sorrow, or even negativity. But instead of that, the author wants us to live a life that we will not regret. And to do that, we can empower our own motivation, and we can also set up our goals in the future using our own strength as a person, because we believe that each and every one of us have our own talents and our own strength, so that we can decide what we want to do in the future, and all of us can be successful in our own way in the future. So that is what we interpret in this paragraph. And we can move on to the next presenter.
Okay, so I'm going to present on the last paragraph, which is paragraph 4. So I'm going to start with reading the poem. So just take the first step. Be strong in each hour. Carry on your story and be proud of your power. Next slide. So behind of these lines, the meaning, first of all, the author emphasized that we need to take the first step. We might be nervous what will come afterwards, but instead of waiting, just take the lead and start our journey of progress. Other than that, I found out that yes, our life is tough, and that's why the author want us to be strong on each phases in our life, so that keep on with positivity and give our best at each phases. Last but not least, we have go through a lot and lots of things happen. Then we need to believe in our progress and journey that we'll make it. We can make it and we will achieve it. So that's all from our group 1 with our choice of poem.
Yes, as a conclusion, the whole poem it gives some insights and very direct message which can inspire us. So that's why we choose this, and it shows clearly saying that when you lose hope, so you unable to do any other things, so you will get stuck there, and with hope you can get stronger than you can imagine. Okay, that's it from our group. Any comments? Or I pass to moderator.
So anyone would like to say anything about the poem just now?
Hi. Okay. As for me, I see this poem is very great because it's kind of motivational poem. Like what I can understand in this poem, in which life is very hard. Life is very hard, but whatever it be, we cannot be hopeless. Like we know life is like writing a book or writing a journal, like we the author. So sometimes it can be rough and sometimes it can be very smooth, but when it comes to the rough journey, we need to know that at the end of the journey it will be something sweet to be achieved. What I can say here is, um, when we have the rough journey, please bear in mind that we put our hope so that we can gain our strength. And when we have problem, don't simply think that the problem cannot be solved. Like maybe we can take a small step to achieve a great journey. So this is what I can interpret or I can extract from this poem. I think this is like the best poem that can inspire people who is currently in down mood or something else. So how about you guys?
Okay, I very strongly agree with Ammar because it's a very good, it's a very great poem. What give me the most memorable things that the first paragraph, the first line mentioned that you are the author of your. So basically that we know that we can control our life, that we have the power to choose. So basically it's like when we face a desperate situation, we can either to choose to have faith and hope, or you just simple to submit to the situation and give up. And people will tend to choose to have faith and hope. They always can get through all the desperate situation. And on the other side, those choose to submit and give up, they always have those negative mindset. And before the things suddenly to get better, they just brag about it and just eventually they will just give up. So I think that hope is like a small light in the dark room. Like it encourage and motivate us to step to have to able to take the first step forward and help us out of the dark room. That's all from me. How about you, others?
Shahrin, do you want to add something?
Yes, Amma, I was about to say. I agree with you and how, as I remember from the third paragraph from this, it says that everyone has their own strength. So I think from there, we should know that whatever happens, we should never give up because we need to know that we have to use our strength in the right way so that we don't lose hope and so that we can move forward and don't stay behind. What about you guys?
Actually, I very agree with how Jie said that the first paragraph, I really like the first sentence, which means you are the order of your life. Means that you are the only person that can control, adjust, or manage your life. So, like in our life, we're facing many problems, but we just need to be strong and overcome it, and better through it, and hoping for the best. And I think that we should not don't live with the sadness or bad things only, but with the happiness. And you should enjoy your life, be strong facing the problem, and to have a hope. It's like one an outcome that makes your life better in some way. So and only not only can help us to make a tough present situation and more, and also can eventually improve our life, because eventually a better future motivate you to like take a step to make it happen. So how about others?
Ziling, do you want to add something?
Okay, for me actually, I don't really have much comment about that poem because um it's very direct. It's just very direct and wait, is that time limit?
You can
No,
go
no.
on, you can go on. It's the
Alright,
unlimited
right.
time limit. Yeah.
Okay, okay. It's just very direct and then it just teaches like we just have to go on with our life and hope is the only one that's pushing us through. So yeah, that's all from me.
I will have to agree with Ziling because I don't, because like all of you said, like it's how great this poem is, but I actually have to back to differ because it's a very simple poem and it's very direct. Everything said there is like you can see all this in motivational quotes, and I myself I'm numbed by all these things. It doesn't really give me the inspiration, motivation to like motivate me and stuff because I see this too often. So but everything said inside is great, is true. It's just that the poem itself maybe it can use another way, with like with a more interesting way to convey the message. That's what I think. Um, but yeah, whatever it's in the poem, it's true. It's just that it's not that captivating to me, right? What about the others?
In my opinion, I agree that the poem is very direct. It doesn't need much interpretation. However, I don't think that that is a bad thing because the points are delivered very precisely. People don't have to think so much to gain the motivation, which is the purpose of the poem, right? So the purpose of the poem is to give people motivation, to give people hope, and when some people they don't like to think that much, so the points would be hard for them to get. So for them, maybe this simple direct message is better. That's in my opinion.
Um, okay. So in my opinion, I think I will stand neutral because I agree with Amma where when he said that some people they really don't like interpreting poems, they just like direct, precise messages to be conveyed to them. And I also agree that this poem it's a bit simple without any metaphors. I really hope that poems should go with metaphors so that people can really, like catch the meaning behind it, which is why poems are interesting sometimes for because every people have their different interpretations. But I really love this poem because it's direct and precise, and it asks us to always it encourages us to take the first step out, because sometimes when we are in the difficult situations, even though we know that things are impossible or maybe things will work out, but we are still afraid to take out our first step. But once you take out the first step, then there's hope for you. Yeah, so I think this is the message that I learned from this poem. What about the others?
I think I strongly agree with Jing-Ee's point, which is very direct. It's like even we can extract the meaning or interpret the lines easily. So how about you, Hui Xin?
I'm very agree with Jingyi point that she say that this poem must have something we have to think about, but this poem is too direct for me. So I think the poems should be like adding something that we can everyone have their own own view on how to describe it. Okay, so I think maybe we can proceed to the next poems because the time limit is also reached to the corner.
Yes, I think I agree with Wisin to proceed with the second poem.
Okay, so please allow me to share my screen. Okay. So can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
All right. So this is a poem by Emily Dickinson. I think she wrote it when she's at her downfall of her life. And Jeannie will go first to explain about this poem, stanza 1.
All right, thank you, Ziling. Yes, I'll be explaining and do some analysis for this stanza 1 of this poem. Okay, so the first line is like hope is the thing with feathers. So in this line, the poet is trying to give a very emphasis on the word hope by using inverted commas, as you can see, and she's actually using hope as a metaphor. In here, he's trying to say that hope is like a bird, where it has a feathers and it perched in a human soul, where the feathers are very soft and gentle, but even though they are soft and gentle, but they are very strong and they can help a bird to in flight. So this is like something he's trying to say, that hope is like a bird that inspires and can help to make us fly and do something that we want in our life. And also it tries to say that feathers, because feathers are made out of like individually, so that it shows that unity is strength and helps someone to go through something. Okay, so this is like so what I explained just now is like regarding the first line and the second line of my first stanza. And the third line is that and sings the tune without the words. So it's trying to say that like it's not just hope is not just feathery, but it can sing as well. And the song is special for because there's no words in the songs, and not everyone can understand the songs because it's like without words, and it's just for someone, like for us ourselves, we understand what we are going through. It's not like everyone else doesn't understand what we're going through, but we ourselves know that what we are going through, and we have hope and have faith in ourselves. And the last line here says that and it never stops at all. So it says like hope is like a pure song, a pure feeling, and it's just something that it never stops. And then the poet actually emphasized the last two words, which are at all, by using these double dashes. Yeah, just like it's trying to bring extra attention to these two words. Okay, that's it for my first stanza. I will pass to Hui Xin to explain for the second stanza.
Thank you, Jing-Ee. So I will continue to the second stanza. I will go through to read the poem first, then I will go for the explanation. So for the second paragraph, and sweetest in the gill is heard. Please focus that there are two pauses on in between, which is at the sweetest, and the reader stop for a while. In the gill, stop for a while as well. Is heard. And second line, and so must be the stone that could abreast the little bird that keeps so many worms. So we can see that the second stanza, that is like life is going tough, and we must don't lose our hope. Okay, so the first line, as I mentioned before, that is unusual. It's very unusual to use double dash. That there are two distinct pauses, which the reader has to be very careful with. And the hope is always singing, as we know from the first stanza, which Jing-Ee mentioned just now. But it sings the sweetest when it's going is when the things going tough, going rough, when like for example here when the gale is starting to blow. So when the life is hot and the things are thrown to us and the pressure relentless, there is also hope singing through the child and also okay. Please note that the first mention of the birds in line 7, it will take a heroism to embrace and or also disconcert the birds, which protect many people from adverse situation. So the reader might want to send a message that hope is difficult to disturb even when the life seems hard. Okay, so I think this paragraph trying to send a message that we are going through hard times in life. Is it, it is a part of being alive and it's the reality we all have to deal with. So there's also time we have to we sometimes we forget our own value as a person because we are so blindless with this talk or loneliness or emptiness and also ego. But the things is life is our own. We have to open our heart and we will see how blessed are in our life. So sometimes they are also light and they shine to our paths in some dark phases of our life. So don't lose hope. Okay, that's all from me. The link you can proceed with the stanza.
All right, thank you, Hui Xin. And I will proceed to the third stanza. So I'll read it out first. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asks a crumb of me. So, as you can see from the first line, the writer have used I for the first time, and this might indicate a personal connection to the subject, maybe. Maybe Emily Dickinson is thinking herself as a little bird. So the link is quite direct. And also here, the speakers say she has heard it in the chiller's land and on the stranger's sea, meaning she heard the bird during the hardest and coldest time when the emotions are churning and life is surreal. But when the things are extreme, hope is still there and never asks for anything in return, as you can see, yet never in extremity it asks a crumb of me. So it's just like a free thing for her in life. Okay, so even she's very worn out and all, she still have hope here without anything, and she did the hope is the only thing that she had. So as a summary of this poem, so this poem is very extended with a lot of metaphor, transforming hope into bird that is ever present in the human soul. It sings when the times get rough, and hope springs eternal and might be a reasonable summing up. So the rhythm of this poem varies in places, which may not be apparent on the first setting. So it is fulfilled with both creativity and love, and they are all beautifully encapsulated what hope is for us all, something that will inspire us and make us fly. So yeah, I think that's all from our group, and I'll look forward to the comments. Thank you.
Hi, so Ammar here. So for the second poem, I think this is totally different with the first one. Like this poem is like an indirect poem and have a lot of metaphor between the lines. And for me personally, I love the third paragraph in which the author or Emily express her feeling in the poem by taking herself into the line and use the word I have heard. I have something like um she tries to feel like she's the bird. She's the bird and taking herself into the poem. So how about the others?
I think, in my opinion, I think it is a beautiful poem and it has beautiful message in every word and every sentence. But in my opinion, I think this poem it may be a little too hard to understand for some people compared to the first poem. because if you see the first poem is more precise and is more direct. So for those people who like search for hope poem, and they can easily understand the first poem compared to this one. I think in the second poem, I think some people may need the interpretation for this one because as Ammar said, it has a lot of metaphors, so and also difficult words. So I think, in my opinion, I think yeah, it may be a little too hard for some people to understand. How about others?
In
Yeah,
my
actually.
opinion,
Oh, okay. Sorry.
sorry. Sorry. In my opinion, I do agree with Shahrin because just like he said before that the poem has a lot more metaphors that which is we need to interpret we need to interpret it so that then we will understand it better. So but after the explanation by the Zillion and the others, I do agree that this poem is nice because how it conveys on this team hope for us to keep on working and then hope for the best, and then how they convey that the hope as a light in our life so that we can go walk through the darkness. So okay, so I will pass to Zilindi.
Okay, thank you, Amir. So, yes, this poem is filled with a lot of metaphor, and in my opinion, it's just very imaginative. It's a very imaginative poem, and it's a very dynamic inner world of this writer. She she is able to capture the universe moment in very simple sentence, and also create metaphor that has stood the matter of time, and also it's like this poem, I don't think there's how to say a certain way to interpret it. It's just how people look at this poem and how people interpret this poem, because this poem is written by the author at that moment of time and she felt and what she felt. So this poem just stand out and remind us all that no matter the circumstances or anything that we are going through, then there's one small thing that can always help us through. For her is birds singing. Yeah, that's all for me.
I agree with Ziling. Since the writer wrote the poem for herself at that point in her life, so it can be interpreted differently by different individuals. So, however, whichever way it can relate to the reader, as long as the poem helps the reader um, to to increase their motivation, to have hope, for example. So, if that's the point of this poem, then the objective is achieved. Because maybe not all people can relate to this poem, and maybe not all people can understand this poem. But for those who can understand it and can relate to it, then it's good for the person lah. That's all for me.
Okay, my turn to give some comments about it. Personally, I think I like some sentence from the poem, like things are very extreme, but the writer doesn't ask for any returns, and the whole metaphors is about birds, which transforming the hope into birds, and usually we will take bird as a sign of freedom and of flexibility. So it is kind of imagination, more to imagination. Maybe for certain people they will love it, but maybe it will be difficult for some people because of the metaphors, the meaning behind it. So personally, I think with a very clear justification, I will prefer to read this poem, but without it, maybe it will be time consuming for me to interpret it. But the meaning behind it is very clear, very precise. And I personally will love it because for me, it's quite unique. And yes, just like that.
I think we have exceeded 30 minutes. So I think that would be enough for this discussion, and we shall continue in the next discussion for our next poems. And we'll meet again on 25th April on Friday at 3 p.m. Is that okay?
Yes, that's fine for me.
Sure.
Yeah, it
It's
sounds
fine
Yes,
for
good.
me.
I agree.
Okay, then we shall end it here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Bye.
everybody.
Thank you. Good
Everyone.
job.